In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs. Week by week. Book by book. One epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
Hello and welcome to NCR DC Communion. I'm your host, Ben Dupay.
I'm Noah O'Toole.
And I'm Ariel Dupay.
And we are your DC comic book overlords. How's everyone doing this week?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good week for great week for comics, actually, I thought.
Yeah.
Good week for DC as a whole. Like, I don't know, I'm really excited about Injustice 2.
Yes.
And
yes.
What I never heard back from you on my text, but I guess for the listeners, GameStop has a thing where if you go get Injustice, and this is the GameStops in our area, but I'm assuming it's nationwide. If you go get Injustice the day of, there's like a Batman hockey, or it's like an Injustice hockey jersey with like Batman on the front that you get.
Yeah.
So
I've got mine pre-ordered from the PlayStation Network.
digital.
So yeah,
Yep.
I did the Ultimate Edition. So
Yeah.
I'll get everything and all the DLC characters, and yeah, I'll be sure to keep everybody updated because it's going to be really exciting.
It was really cool to see, and we'll talk about Injustice more when we get to that review, but it was really cool to see the video game story continue. Because, like, that was a great story, man. Like, that was really cool. And I guess so, like, all of the Injustice stuff after the video game, all the comics that were written, I don't know how those work with, like, continuity and stuff now.
Yeah, I think they try to keep their own continuity, within the Injustice timeline a little bit, but I didn't read the Injustice comic book when Injustice 1 was out, so...
Yeah, I did a little bit, and it wasn't like this. I mean, it was definitely a different... So I think they're almost like starting new with continuity a little bit, so... hold on one sec, I'm getting a buzz. Okay, we're good to go. All right, so yeah. Otherwise, though, not too much going on with DC this week. Do want to let everyone know before you go any further, we are a Stephanie Brown podcast here at NCR. We're a spoiler podcast, so we are going to be spoiling all of the DC comics that we talk about this week. NCR is, what is NCR, guys? What's in it for the listeners, for any new listeners? What would you call NCR? We are a DC recap and review podcast.
There we go.
Yeah,
I know it was a leading question, but I wasn't sure which direction we were going.
Yeah, I know, over the head. I never prepare people for these things. Yeah, we talk about all the DC comic books that come out every week, so that's what we do here. We are proud members of the Batman Podcast Network, and we are always looking for more podcast networks to join, so if there's anyone that's listening that has those, let me know. Shoot me an email. I'm at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com. We do have a mail segment here at NCR. We don't have any mail this week for this show, but we do want to read your mail on air and talk about it. So if you want to email us and just talk to us, we can be located at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts on the books or what you had for lunch that day or anything in between. Doesn't matter. We just want to interact with you. We also do have a listener line where you can call and leave us a voicemail. I'm looking for that line number right now. I am so unprepared. All right, the phone number to call us and leave us a message is 641-715-3900, extension 345703. I know we couldn't have made it more simple for you guys. Yeah, but give us a call and we will play that on the show. What's up, Ariel?
What if we do a contest where the 10th caller gets a shirt or something?
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I got all sorts of DC junk. Actually, I still have Noah's Wonder Woman, Gauntlet.
Goblet,
yeah. So maybe we'll give that away in the voicemail contest or something. So, all right, cool. Well, we will move things on to a little bit of news. All right, so we got news this week. Ariel, you had news, right?
Yeah, I have a couple things.
All right, yeah, what do you got?
So, remember when we talked about the writer's strike a while ago?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so, Writers Guild of America doing a strike.
Yeah, well, it's been averted because the studio has met their agreements. So the writer's strike is gone, and we'll get all our TV shows and comics and all that good stuff right on time.
Thank God. So was comics involved with that? I'd seen comic book artists post things about it.
Yeah, it's just from Twitter. It kind of seemed like they were like stand with our brothers.
Banding together, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like I saw even what's his name? Patton Oswalt posted something about. Did you see what he posted? He posted television shows are now at the quality that movies were at in the 70s. Pay writers more, like because it's like they do good work. So
yeah. I mean, TV's huge now.
Yeah, I agree. So. All right, what else you got?
So we know that Deathstroke's going to probably be the main antagonist. Well, he was supposed to be the main antagonist in the Batman movie coming up.
Right.
And he was talked about being played by Joe. How do you say his last name?
Manganiello, or how do I don't even remember.
He's the wolf on True Blood.
Joe Manganiello.
Well, it's been rumored that he might not be in the movie, and Deathstroke might be taken off, and Penguin might be played by Josh Gad, who was LeFou in Beauty and the Beast recently. I love him.
I saw that this morning. I think he would make a very fitting Penguin.
Yes.
He could do a good job.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at his Google images right now for Josh Gad, and he looks good. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about. I don't know, man. Like Penguin's never been like my. I feel like he's not the most worthy adversary for Batman.
Right.
But if done right, I guess you could kind of make him cool. I don't know.
It's just interesting. We can't get anything solid from DC movie news. We just
yeah. Well, the Batman movie just in general has had so many ups and downs and switches and everything. It's hard to keep track of. Anyway, much less, but getting reliable news.
The stuff going on with Ben Affleck being in like rehab and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure that creates some inconsistencies, and like the studio, I'm sure doesn't really want to pressure someone who's like trying to get their life together.
Right.
Which good. I hope they don't, but I don't know. I would think Batman would be the movie that they'd be pushing towards the most because, I mean, say what you will about, if you're a fan or not, but that's definitely their most lucrative. Yeah. Like, I mean, Batman is always going to be their flagship for the movies. I mean, even Superman doesn't compare to the money.
Superman's their flagship, like, character, but Batman's definitely their flagship moneymaker.
Yeah, for movies, anyway.
Yeah, I bet he's their top moneymaker overall.
Yeah.
Comics,
that'd be
merch.
my guess, but merchandise and right, but who knows?
And why is that, Ariel? It's
because
I'm Batman. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So I'm excited for that though. I think it would be cool. I do want to see. I don't know, man. Like, give me the Court of Owls or Hush, or those are some cool villains. Or even team him up with Batgirl. I'm always gonna say that,
right.
But like, yeah. I mean. Then hopefully like Gotham City Sirens and stuff will kind of cross over and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Penguin's not the most dynamic character, but look at how he was done in Gotham, the TV show. Like, he's really cool there, kind of that gangster mob.
Right, a mob boss type character.
And I think if they went that way, he could be really cool.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think it all depends on if you treat him like a blank slate.
Right.
I mean, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, like the you could not pick a more stupid, campy comic book from the 70s, 80s. But they kind of just like wiped it clean and were like, okay, we're just going to use this property and make something cool.
Right.
And, like, you could do that with the Penguin too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what else? You got anything else, Ariel?
Nope, that's it from me.
No, you got any news this week?
I did get Tuesday on digital, at least, the 75th anniversary of Wonder Woman re-release of the movie we watched. The movie, the Wonder Woman animated movie came out. And there was rumors that it was going to have all this extra things and stuff like that. And so I bought it, of course, and it didn't have anything extra except like one extra little documentary that contained like Gal Gadot, and some things on the movie coming out. So that was interesting. But one thing it did have, too, was a preview of the next DC animated movie, and it's going to be called Batman and Harley. And it's going to focus on Batman and Harley Quinn and Nightwing.
Nice.
And it's all kind of done in the style of Bruce Timm in the Batman the Animated Series.
Okay,
and
cool.
The dude that voiced Robin is voicing Nightwing
Oh,
so that's
nice.
cool.
I like that.
And I cannot remember her name right now. I think it's Melissa, but she plays Bernadette on Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, nice.
And
cool.
she's going to play the voice of Harley Quinn.
She was also a Powerpuff Girl.
Oh, really? She's
she
perfect
was.
because she's got that squeaky voice and you can do
Nice.
that Jersey accent and I look forward to it.
That's cool. Yeah, I was looking for this the 25th anniversary on Comic Book Roundup. I was just curious what the reviews got, but it's not on here. I do see though Wonder Woman Volume 2 Year 1 by Greg Rucka and Bill Quisevely. That averaged a 9.0 rating on for the Volume 2 or whatever. So that was Volume 1 of the origin story, I think.
Right.
But Volume 2 of the series where he switched back and forth. So yeah, all right, cool. I have what else you got?
So just a little tidbit. Batman is in fact their most profitable character, but the most profitable character of superhero of all time is Spider-Man.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, and he's one of my favorites. I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely not the biggest Marvel fan, but Spidey's one of my favorite Marvel guys. So.
Right.
It goes Spider-Man, Batman, Avengers, and Superman.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And Avengers probably wasn't that.
I say
you
have to put an asterisk with theirs because there's more than just one person contributing to that thing where these other people are holding their numbers on their own.
Yeah, for sure. So I have one piece of news this week I got in an email from DC publicity team, but they say DC signs Bogdanovich to create content for DC and Vertigo. So if you guys aren't familiar, Bogdanovich is the artist, I believe, that draws for... He's either the artist or the writer that does work for New Superman, which is the Chinese Justice League team. DC Entertainment continues to expand its talent roster, announcing today that it has reached an agreement with all-star artist Victor Bogdanovich, so artist, to create content solely for the company's DC and Vertigo imprints. And there's a quote here: hiring an artist like Victor who has clean lines and clear characters, which I totally agree. The art in that book is just awesome, so great. Was perfect to launch New Superman, said DC editor-in-chief Bob Harris. With this success, I'm looking forward to seeing what Victor does this summer with Action Comics. We have an incredible creative team here at DC, and we're always looking for talented new writers and artists to join our ranks. Blah, blah, blah. So I started working for DC late in 2014, says Bogdanovich. It's been an amazing place for me. My very first book was Batman Arkham Knight, which was awesome, and then came Suicide Squad Most Wanted Deadshot. More recently, I had a unique chance to help create a cooler character than Batman. Of course, I'm talking about New Superman or Kong Keenan, which... I agree. I like that character a lot. I think he's a really interesting character. Since the launch of Rebirth, Bogdanovich has teamed up with writer Gene Lin Yang to give the world a new hero, Kong Keenan, and New Superman. From there, Bogdanovich will transition to working with Dan Jurgens on Action Comics, with his first issue in Action Comics 983 debuting on July 12th. Drawing the Man of Steel himself in Action Comics is another childhood dream come true. God, I wish I could. Bogdanovich said, there are exciting things happening at DC right now, and I'm delighted to be a part of it. And then he's newest name to be added to DC's roster of talent. They also recently signed Bruno Redondo for Injustice 2. Fantastic work. Liam Sharp from Wonder Woman, he's an exclusive. Andy Kubert from Dark Knight 3. Jaime Fernandez from Nightwing. Jorge Jimenez from Super Sons, and writers Amanda Connor from Harley Quinn, James Tynion IV from Detective Comics, Dan Abnett from the Titans and Aquaman. Fun fact about Dan Abnett, too, because today is the day that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes out. Yeah. Dan Abnett actually created this group of Guardians of the Galaxy that we know now.
Sure, okay.
The group Peter Quill and Groot and Rocket, he created them.
Right.
I thought that was cool because he writes on Titans too. Yeah. So it's another cool team-up book. He's really good with the team-up. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this, though. I like Bogdanovich. I like, giving some diversity to characters in the comics. Having a Chinese Justice League to me is a really cool idea if it's done right. And for me, I thought it was. Because, it's Kong Keenan is this kid who, I remember in the issue 1 of it, I wasn't that excited because it's New Superman. Okay, this is whatever. I'll read 1 or 2 issues. But the first scene was a kid bullying another kid, and so your mind immediately jumps to, okay, our hero is the guy getting bullied, probably.
Yeah.
Well, the hero was the guy doing the bullying.
Yeah.
And there was actually a story behind it, and he was bullying because his mother was in a tragic accident and stuff. But it was a cool take on a character, so I really enjoyed it. So that's all we got for news, right? Yep, so we will move on to the book reviews. All right, so this week in book reviews, first off, I'm going to take The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom number 5. And this is a book that I really enjoyed. I got to confess, there are 2 books I didn't read this week, and both of them belong to Ariel. I'm sorry. They're just books I'm never interested in, and I just didn't have time. It's Cyborg and Aquaman. I do have to ask, though, like, is this a good time to jump on those books this week?
No, it's not. It really is not.
They kind of seem in between stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will have to let me know, like, when we do get... Because I feel like I'm already at a disadvantage not liking it, and I don't want to disadvantage myself even further by trying to jump in the middle of a story. Like, I don't know. I know that seems lazy or whatever, but I have a hard time with it. So let me know when we do get to the start of a new story arc with those books.
Aquaman should be pretty soon, but Cyborg seems like it has a couple more issues.
Aquaman I'm almost more on board with than Cyborg. Cyborg's a character that's just...
Cyborg I'm a little lost on, but I've read a couple of Aquaman, and I kind of get what's going on in that story. You know,
I paid my dues with Cyborg, though, man. I read the first, 15 issues, I think, or 10 issues, and it sunk low, man. It was fun at first, though. I really liked the first couple issues. But, getting back to Fall and Rise of Captain Atom number 5, story on this one is by Carrie Bates. Art is Will Conrad. Color is Ivan Nunez. So, the metahuman that Captain Atom accidentally made, Max Thrain, a.k.a. Ultramax, which is kind of a little nod to Max Rager from iZombie, but is powered up and looking for revenge. Someone had ratted Max out, sealing his fate for the chair. Now Ultramax is on a client killing spree. Meanwhile, Captain Atom is trying to bond with the son he never knew he had. The timeline readjustment that happened a while ago ripped his son away from him. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic there. That was one of my favorite parts of the book. Timey-wimey type stuff. Anywho, the only catch is the kid doesn't know who he is and kind of hates his absent father. So they're having this conversation, and the kid's talking about how much he hates his dad, and he's telling this to his dad. He doesn't know it, so that was kind of funny too. That was like, oh man, that sucks. Feel bad. So the end of the issue is Ultramax confronting Captain Atom and his commanding officer, which for the life of me I can't remember. I couldn't find this guy's name.
Ealing. It's like...
Okay, Ealing. Okay. They battle. Captain Atom kind of zaps them both into this weird alternate dimension and, just zaps Ultramax away somewhere. And Captain Atom shows back up. Ultramax is shown later in his hideout or apartment talking about how he's going to get Ealing. And that's all we get for this issue. So, yeah, I don't know. Did y'all read this book?
I'm kind of with you with where you are with Aquaman and Cyborg, and that I am coming into it now half in the story.
Yeah,
and I can speak for the art, and it is gorgeous.
Very, very good art. I actually, my first point on this book was the art is just fantastic. It gives you kind of a classic vibe, really golden agey or silver agey type art, but with a new twist or whatever.
With the new colors. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I think I've read all these. I may have missed one issue, but it is a finite thing where it's it's concluding next issue. But gosh, man, Ultramax looks a lot like Dr. Manhattan.
I thought that too.
He a lot like Dr. Manhattan.
When I first saw him,
Yeah, no, that's going to be a big
you think they're going to be connected?
Well, I don't know, because I mean, Captain Atom is Dr. Manhattan. I mean, he's the Atomic Man.
Right.
They have the exact same power set. So I gotta think and DC made a big deal out of this book when they were talking about like it was a few months back, and they were talking about the button and stuff, and Action Comics Reborn, and this was in that solicit too. They were like, we're going to be exploring the button, we're going to be talking about Superman's Mr. Oz relationship in Reborn, and then we're going to be exploring Captain Atom, which is like that came out of nowhere, but okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it will be important. I don't know if we're probably not going to get any answers from it.
Probably won't be a hard connection, but yeah,
exactly. Cool. So, I really like the narrative they tell us with Nathaniel, though. It gets a little bit confusing sometimes. I feel like maybe it's a cerebral book at points. There's a lot of science talk in there, and stuff like that. So. That being said, what did you think of it, Ariel?
Man, I loved it. He's kind of a tragic character. Cause he got sent to the past, but he got without his powers, so he's really happy. He fell in love. His wife got pregnant, which he didn't know about. Then he got sent back to the future, regained his powers, which kind of controls him. Yeah. Now he's working for the government, and he's very lost in life. So it's kind of cool to get this powerful creature who, can't really get a handle on his own life. Max is great. He had this very old school gangster vibe to him. Yeah. When he was taking out all those people, it was so cool. I could see it as a movie in my head.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the book too. Just watching him go to and kill people one by one.
Especially the recording studio guy when he
the rapper.
That was so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. So we do have a rating system here. I'll play that rating system so you know what I'm talking about.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
I'm at a blessing on this one. I think it was a good book. I don't think it's holy. I know you're different than me, Ariel. I'm assuming you give it holy.
Yeah, I give it holy.
Yeah.
I give it a 9 out of 10 on my review. So.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see now what Comic Book Roundup has. Noah, what would you rate it just based off of the art?
I mean, just based off of the art and what I've seen, it was holy level. Okay. But I don't have enough of the backstory to have been invested enough to be real fair. Sure. I had a little asterisk next to that again.
Yeah. Comic Book Roundup has 4 critic reviews on it and 2 user reviews, both of which average an 8 out of 10. So we're about
there. In there.
Yeah. I mean, if I could say high blessing, I would. I'm not to a holy yet, but I'm really close. So, all right, we will move things on here. Why don't we talk about Injustice: Gods Among Us?
All right, Injustice: Gods Among Us. Number 1, 2 speeding bullets. So previously in the Injustice story as a whole, it's set in an alternate universe where there's an alternate version of the Justice League. In this reality, Superman becomes a tyrant and establishes a new world order after the Joker tricks him into killing Lois Lane and destroying Metropolis with a nuclear bomb. In order to stop this, Batman summons counterparts of the Justice League's members from another universe, including his own and Superman's, to join his insurgency and end Superman's totalitarian regime. So now, we cut to the events after all this. Superman has been captured, and he's imprisoned in a cell surrounded by special red lights emulating a red sun, rendering him powerless. Meanwhile, back at the Arrow Cave, or as Harley pointed out, it should rather be called the Quiver, because arrows don't live in caves.
I love that, too. Because if you played the video game at all, that's a part of the story.
It's part of the story, yeah.
So I like that.
Which, as we know, is the former home of Green Arrow, and Harley is suddenly attacked by Amanda Waller and her militia. And she gets recruited against her will to the Suicide Squad, along with an interesting ragtag group that includes Calendar Man, Orca, Killer Moth, Clock King, Man-Bat, Captain Cold, El Diablo, Deadshot, Polka Dot Man, Magpie, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, and Katana.
It's nice to have all those listed out, because I didn't know.
Yeah, there were a couple of them I had to kind of look up in the back and figure out who they were, but yeah. Calendar Man has to be one of my favorites. I don't know why I like Calendar Man. It might be the Arkham games Batman, because he kind of has a little part in those, and he's the Easter egg if you log on the game on a holiday, he'll say something special.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
like on
awesome.
Christmas.
That's
But
cool.
anyway, meanwhile, back on another Earth, a completely different Earth, Dr. Fate visits Green Arrow, Black Canary, and their son Connor with some news. The previous twist of fate that once threatened Black Canary's life has passed, and it's safe for her to return to her world as Superman has been defeated, and Batman needs their help in rebuilding. The book ends with Harley warning Amanda it was dumb to cross her new partner, the world's greatest detective, and no matter how well she covers her tracks, Batman is still going to find her. And right on cue, Batman enters the room, but he is packing some serious heat, and he whips out dual assault rifles from underneath his cape and opens fire on Amanda Waller and the Suicide Squad. But with his eyes glowing a mysterious red, it makes me wonder, is this even Batman at all? Next, to be continued.
That's what I was thinking. Like, that can't be
That can't be Batman. I know.
So I think that's another world's Batman, because there are two worlds now.
Right.
So maybe it's an other world Batman. I do have to notice too. They talked about 2 shots earlier, 2 shots from a gun. I forget what it was, but in that exchange with the Suicide Squad, at some point they said 2 shots from a gun, and Batman fired 2
shots.
There was bang bang. You saw 2 shots,
right.
So I got to think that was something too. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
It makes me wonder if Brainiac might have something to do with, because he's the big bad of the story for the video game goes. So he could have some Cyborg.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, him and Darkseid. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how that story is going to play in, but I do know that Brainiac's going to be the initial threat.
That's cool.
That comes in.
I can see. I wonder if Brainiac and Darkseid have ever been involved in a comic book.
I don't know, but that
they're 2 big bads.
would be really fun to watch. Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Boy, that'd be a slugfest of epic proportions. I don't even know.
Shut up and take my money already. Yeah.
Every comic book and video game fan I know of is beyond excited for Injustice 2, the video game set to release on May 16th. This book is a prequel to the storyline that will be explored in the upcoming video game story mode. Alternities and warped versions of heroes are always fun to read, and so people like that. I do have to admit I am not a fan of Superman having to kill a pregnant Lois Lane in order to further the story. I mean, she had to be fridged so that his story could go on, and that's...
So I gotta ask, when we're talking about that, how do you feel about Identity Crisis? I mean, is that because I just started it. I've read the first issue. I've not read the rest, but spoiler alert: there is a woman in that story she's only there to further the plot by being raped and killed.
Sue Dibney, right?
I believe so, right?
Yeah. And it's the same. It's the same thing. I just don't like. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
I think there are better ways and other ways around it. Now, I do think it can be done right, and I'm going to turn to Greg Rucka for the perfect example of it done right in the issue of Wonder Woman where Maxwell Lord mind-controlled Superman and made him see Doomsday killing Lois and all this stuff, and you never saw any of that. You just saw Superman's face and his emotions.
And it didn't actually
happen. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it took, it took fridging Lois Lane, and there just could have been in a world where you are open to create or do anything you want. I just think there could have been a little bit more creative way to make that happen, but that's just a minor, little thing I
will play devil's advocate there because I listened to 2 people talk about this on a show, and one was inherently against and one was inherently for it. Things like that do happen in the real world,
right?
So those events being represented in a story. Should those events be represented in a story? And should they be justified?
Right. And people use the same thing on the Killing Joke, as well. But I guess my view of that isn't the fact that these things happened; it's how they treated the female character as it happened, and it's completely as throwaway. And there's no redemption afterwards other than Superman's rage. That's all we get of Lois's legacy is Superman's rage and evilness. You know what I mean? And she's more important and more fleshed out than that, in my opinion. But that's obviously we can talk ethics and that forever. But it's interesting.
It is. It's always an interesting concept.
Yeah.
One question I have for you. I promise I'll let you continue. So when you say fridged, is that referring to like Kyle Rayner's?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard that thrown around a lot, and I wasn't sure.
Gail Simone coined that term. and she actually started a blog called Women. I can't remember if it's called Women in Fridges or Women in Refrigerators. I think it was called Women in Refrigerators, and then she turned the coin fridged, and that's when you kill off a woman in the story solely for the purpose of furthering the male protagonist's plot.
Okay, cool. And I wasn't sure if that was a DC thing or because I've heard it widely brought up.
Well, it certainly is DC's fault that phrase got coined because it was absolutely Kyle Rayner's girlfriend in the fridge. And Gail Simone, who we all love and know. Stood up for that and so. But wrapping this up. That was standing. I love the whole story of Injustice and the characters fighting each other, and it's a lot of fun Elseworld story, and I really look forward to finding out more what's going to happen to drive these characters to do what they do during the storyline. And it was really good, not great. I gave it a blessing.
Do you think? Well, because this will be the only comic we get before the video game, so I wonder if they're going to follow that story closely. Because in the comics version of Volume 1, it was like they followed the comic book, but it's almost like the comic picked up where the video game left off. So it's not like a Star Wars thing where they're writing an adaptation of the movie, and you're just like, why am I going to buy that just to watch the movie in comic form? You know, like they kind of do a nice job of picking up where it left off.
That is interesting because after the story mode of the first one ended, the comic book picked up, and then now this one seems to take place before whatever events are going to happen in the story mode of this one because it said it was a prequel.
So I almost
we'll
wonder
see how well connected
retconning all those comics.
They roll together, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, we will move things on here. What do you want to talk about, Ariel?
How about we just go ahead and talk about Aquaman?
Okay. Why don't you move a little closer to the mic for me?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Sorry. So fear is quickly sweeping through the Marine base to claim more victims to its monstrous convergence. The Aquamarines change into the sea versions of themselves to try to fend off these beasts, but even their strength brings futile resistance. In order to save his newfound frenemies, I guess, Aquaman makes an explosive decision. The Atlantean King throws a bomb into the strange water, blowing it up and disconnecting the fear signal. Agent Ajar and Mortimer, who were both transformed into dead water, have changed back to their human form. All is well in the deep blue sea once again. Or is it?
Okay.
So, a couple things. We learned in Teen Titans that Black Manta is still alive. And when he was off in Aquaman, Aquaman has killed him. Well, didn't kill him, but inadvertently killed him. So that hooded figure in the end, I have to wonder if that's
could be
Black Manta.
Black Manta, that'd be cool.
I read some people thinking it was Oz, but it's underwater, and I can't see how that would work.
I don't know that I've actually seen Oz show up. Well, I've seen him show up in a Batman story and a Superman story. I don't think I've seen him show up in any other stories, though. So,
I don't think it's him.
Trinity.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
true.
I mean,
very
right.
Pseudo, but yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, for right now, Aquaman's very contained in his own story. There's no CP now.
He almost gets his Justice League punch card taken away. Just short of one free frozen yogurt, too. Yeah. All right, sorry.
Such a jerk. Another interesting fact is that there might be some trouble in paradise between Aquaman and Mera, because she's like, you tell the U.S., listen to us, talk to us. I know we're weird and different and strange to you, but talk to us. Don't just come at us violently. Well, he did the exact same thing to Strange Water. Yeah. During the whole time, Mera was like, no, don't hurt him. Just talk. And Aquaman's like, no, and threw the bomb in. So he's a kind of hypocrite himself.
Right.
That's odd, too. So he's the one being brash and...
Yeah, Mera.
See, because that was her. Like, those tables were turned when I was reading this back at the beginning of Rebirth, and he let them take him into custody, and he let them put handcuffs on him.
Right.
Even though he could obviously break out at any time.
Right.
She was the one that broke in and broke him out and stuff. So it's interesting those tables have turned now.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's like he wants to be liked almost, because those aquamarines who can change their form into marine animals, they were actually originally made to stop Aquaman, but after the whole war kind of simmered down, they came to him and asked him for help. So it's almost like he really wants their approval, because he wants that relationship with the U.S. so bad that he's kind of not thinking clearly.
Okay.
So, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it a holy, just 'cause it's my man.
Yeah, you love Aquaman. Hey, by the way, Noah, did you rate Injustice?
I gave it a blessing. It was yep.
I give it a holy. But I love Injustice.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but not great yet. But I mean, it's super close. But
I love Tom Taylor.
Yeah.
Just a side note, Tom Taylor also does the Justice League Power Rangers.
Oh, sure.
Which I adore. And I actually tweeted a picture of myself as a kid as a Power Ranger to him. And he was like, Zed would never stand against you.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I love it when the artists and writers talk back to us. That's fun.
But that's...
Very cool. I just realized we haven't talked about, I guess what a lot of people consider to be the biggest book of the week is Batman 22. So, Noah, why don't you take it away on that?
All right. Yeah, Batman 22, The Button Part 3. Josh Williamson and Tom King are on the story. Josh Williamson is on the writing for this particular book, and Jason Fabok is on the art. Previously in the Button storyline, Batman and Flash are investigating the mysterious energy surrounding the Watchman's bloody smiley face button and its connection to the death of the Reverse Flash. Flash and Batman use the cosmic treadmill to travel what they think is back in time to Flashpoint. So now this book opens with Batman Thomas Wayne, Batman Bruce Wayne, and the Flash face to face. In an instant twist, we discover that the Flashpoint universe did not cease to exist after Barry restored the timeline. And in a second twist, we find out Barry reveals that this isn't an alternate timeline. He can tell from the vibrational frequencies that this is the present, the here and now. Even though it shouldn't exist, it does. And something is holding this ghost of a world together, much like the visions of the past Justice League and Crisis timelines they saw last issue when they were in the time stream. And in a phrase uttered way too often by Barry Allen, he says, "I need to fix this." And I had to laugh because exactly. Did he forget, or does he not realize, or is his brain switched because of the timelines that he probably caused all of this twice, I think, by trying to fix it? But anyway, nevertheless, he begins to rebuild the cosmic treadmill as Amazon and Atlantean assassins attack. Bruce begs Thomas to come with them, revealing to him that Thomas is a grandfather. But Thomas Wayne pushes Bruce onto the cosmic treadmill, and he and Barry vanish into the time stream. As Batman and the Flash hurl through the time stream, they are swiftly passed by none other than Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash. He's very much alive, and he has the button, meaning at this point in the timeline, it's now before he was killed in Batman number 21. And next, we get the Button Part 3, The Hand of a God.
Cool.
One thing I like most about this whole storyline is that issue 2 picked up right where 1 left off, and 3 picks up right where 2 left off. I mean, you get a cohesive storyline that literally picks up off of the last word of the last page of the last book, which is great. And I enjoyed learning more about the Flashpoint timeline, I guess, if it's a timeline or it's a history. It's an alternate history, I guess, is about the only way you can describe it, because it's history, but it's not real, because
it's a ghost shell of a timeline. Yeah. So, and they noted in the book that that someone caused this timeline to just stay. And I'm still sticking to my anti-monitor thing.
Yeah,
while you were talking about this, I've been looking online about the anti-monitor and what his powers are. He was responsible for the death of Barry Allen after capturing Barry because his ability to traverse the multiverse unaided made him a dangerous variable. The anti-monitor created an antimatter cannon that would destroy the then 5 remaining Earths with a concentrated beam much faster than the wave of entropy that it had originally unleashed. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that he has the ability to alter time and stuff like that, and I think he's one of the only DC characters that would have the ability to do that, make this still exist.
Yeah.
So,
I don't disagree at all. That'd be pretty exciting if the anti-monitor showed up, actually. But
yeah.
So the Thomas Wayne Batman Martha Wayne Joker twist of the whole Flashpoint was my favorite thing about it. So I actually liked seeing Thomas Wayne again and having some of his story fleshed out. And I liked getting to see Batman as an emotional character because he's not written as an emotional character very often. And
that was really cool too.
Yeah, and so that was just that was really good. And I'll get slightly political again. I hated the cover. It didn't make sense to me because it's Thomas Wayne, Batman, and then it's got Bruce Wayne as a child and Martha Wayne as a child, dead on the ground with their eyes dead and wide open, and there's a pool of blood and the broken pearls in it and all that stuff. And either Martha and Thomas died or Bruce died. Never did Bruce and Martha die, so it just seemed like an excuse to put creepy dead people on the cover.
That doesn't make, because Martha didn't die.
Yeah. And just the way their eyes are just giant and looking at you. And then, I've said before, the whole broken pearls thing is just so it's like find something else to bring us back to Batman's death. But I kind of did giggle about that. But the cover notwithstanding, the story is great. We didn't get a lot of questions answered, but things are still moving at a fast pace, and it's interesting to read. And I rated it as a holy.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, man, I was kind of disappointed when I heard that Tom King wasn't going to write this issue. But, wow, Williamson did so well with just bringing raw emotion.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie. I teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who read Flashpoint probably did, too.
Yeah. And, I mean, just the mention of the letter, the grandkid, and Thomas Wayne gives a real heart-moving speech to He's like, take my advice. Don't be Batman. Let Batman die with me. Be a father to your son. Be a, whatever. And I was just like, oh, my gosh. But
I give it a salvation.
Nice.
This run is going to be everything I've ever wanted.
Cool.
Since the day I was born.
Yeah.
So, a little more on my anti-Monitor soapbox, but when Earth's heroes followed him to the beginning of time, he then absorbed all their power and energy, which made him strong enough to alter the creation of the universe until he was opposed by the Spectre. So this is I think this is who Mr. Oz is working with. I feel strongly that Dr. Manhattan does not have the ability to do this. Dr. Manhattan cannot go back in time, make alternate realities stick, he doesn't have the ability to affect the timeline. He's not connected to the Speed Force.
He can see the timeline though.
He sees it. Yeah, he sees time in a different way.
Yeah, it's not linear. It's all at once.
Yeah, he doesn't perceive time as a linear, front to back thing. He sees time as an object or so. But I still just don't. I don't think this has Dr. Manhattan written all over it. I just don't. I think that he will come into play. I just can't see him caring that much about all of this. He's like, just leave me alone. I just want to be on my own planet doing my own thing.
Mentioning the Spectre makes me kind of wonder about
him.
What's
the deal with Spectre?
I mean, I don't know much about him other than he's powerful and was behind with the Crisis.
Yeah, he was involved in Crisis. I'll have to read up on him too. I do think we're going to get some of that though. I don't think Mr. Oz is working with Manhattan. I'm that's my posit. But as far as this issue goes, I gave it a holy, and I was almost to blessing on it. I really enjoyed the issue, but I feel like we're just not getting a lot of answers.
Not getting
here.
anywhere, right?
I mean, we're getting a lot of nostalgia, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of great art, which is fantastic. But I mean, this is supposed to be the first part of Rebirth where we finally get some answers, and I can see why they only made it 4 issues, because I guarantee we're going to get one little morsel of information out of all of this, and
right?
But I don't know. I think a lot of people really wanted some more answers from this, and so I feel like it just didn't deliver those answers to me like I wanted it to. That being said, reading it as just a story without expecting those answers, it's a well-crafted story. It's fun to read. It's a good comic book. I think it's really good. I'm still at a holy, but I'm definitely not at salvation yet.
I think the point of the button, it's kind of telling us what happened, what really happened. What are we saying is canon? The Flashpoint obviously happened. Now it's gone. Infinite Crisis obviously happened.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not giving it. We still don't know concretely, this happened or not. I mean, we saw little pieces of Crisis.
I sort of feel like this issue officially put any character or event from Flashpoint to rest. is a timeline.
But see, New 52 stemmed from Crisis or from Flashpoint. Like, that's all of New 52. That's what started New 52.
Yep.
So, like,
I know. It's a round robin of.
But I get what you're saying. Like, any character from
right, because I mean, it seemed like
you
know, in that Flash when whatever was holding on to the world let go. To me, that kind of symbolized that's gone. It's dissipated, right? But
like that terrible Wonder Woman,
right? Yeah, the bloodthirsty,
evil Arthur
mirror
Curry.
beheading Wonder Woman. Yeah,
yeah. All of those are officially gone now. It appears. I hope so, because like that was nice to bring it back nostalgically. But I think if you brought him back again, it would be like, okay, this is silly.
And Thomas Wayne was a good character to kill off again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
to see Bruce,
you were able to form an emotional connection with him because of Bruce, and it worked well.
I agree. All right, so with that, we will move things on to Bane Conquest number 1. 45. Sorry. All right, so Bane Conquest number 1. Did you all read this one?
Yes.
Okay. You guys sound very excited about it. Story on this one's by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. Art is by Gregory Wright and Carlos M. Mangwell. So Bane is heading out to the open sea to find someone that is trying to destroy Gotham. And that's how this story is set up. Which seems like kind of a Batman-y thing for him to do, but we'll go with it. Whatever. So Bane and his couple of partners find a giant boat out on the water, and Bane kills everyone on board. Then they realize that the boat is carrying plutonium warheads, which means there's someone back in Gotham that's trying to destroy Gotham City. So Bane will work his way backwards through the crime organization to figure out who it is. So Bane crushes some skulls and talks to his teddy bear that he's had since he was a baby, and eventually finds a dude named Chango who tells Bane to head over to Korak. So Bane does just that, attacks all the armed guards, and is taken down by some dude named Damocles? I don't know. Damocles is a supervillain from an alternate universe. He has a sword that can create energy constructs, and other than that, there's not a ton of information out there on him. Otherwise, that's it. That's all we got for the issue. I thought it was decent. I thought it was a little forced at times. The concept of a Bane-centered story isn't super interesting to me, I'll admit. It just seems like kind of a macho D-bag. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm not that interested.
To me, Bane is... I mean, he certainly had some good story arcs and things throughout the years. Obviously, breaking Batman's bat was very...
Nightfall, yeah.
Right. But, yeah, to me, he's just almost a glorified henchman. And...
I mean, he's smart. Like, he orchestrated... In Nightfall, he orchestrated a whole breakout of... Like, that's one thing a lot of fans didn't like about Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Rises film, is he was just a henchman for Talia al Ghul. Mm-hmm. But in Nightfall, he was the one that orchestrated all those... Like, he played the part of Talia. Like, he orchestrated everything, and it was just to challenge Batman, basically, because there was someone out there that, you know, he thought was better than him, or that people said were better than him. That being said, still not an interest. I don't know. He just seems like kind of like a very prideful, arrogant dick, like of a character. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, he's smart, he's strong, he has a venom addiction, but I don't know. He's never been like the most interesting character.
I know that Teddy Bear was an attempt to make him likable or relatable, or for you to feel sorry for him, but I just found it out of place.
Well, yeah, and
I didn't think he just seems the type of person that's going to carry around the teddy bear with him from his traumatic childhood and all that. I mean, it just doesn't seem in character to me for him. But
I totally agree with you. I don't know. It just I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was just something that, like, I felt. Also, he's acting like Batman too. Like, I don't really understand his motivation here. Like, there's someone trying to destroy Gotham, and so he's going to stop it. Like,
why do you care?
Why do you care? Like, you're not even from Gotham. Like, you're from somewhere south of the border, I thought, right?
Yeah, I think he's Latin,
He's Latin.
Latin, yeah, of some descent, but I'm not sure if it's Mexico or Central America or wherever. But yeah.
So why should he? I mean, this just seems like a very Batman thing to do. So I don't really know. Overall, I say it gets a blessing with one small caveat. If you have absolutely zero interest in Bane, you probably won't give a shit about this story.
Yeah,
but if you love Bane, then you'll probably give it a higher rating than I did. So I'm just kind of neutral on Bane. I don't really care. What would you rate it, Ariel?
I mean, I was on the verge of blasphemy, but I guess I'll do blessing just because the art was okay. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was almost to purgatory, but I gave it a little
purgatory,
higher.
That's what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm without a blessing. It's first issues are just tough anyway because you have nothing else to go on other than that issue. So I'm curious to see if things get better, and I like it more with the next issue. But I'm with you, and it was just a blessing. It was okay. It was okay.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we will move things on here. Ariel, you have 2 books left. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's go ahead and do the bad one first. Cyborg.
Okay.
Written by John Semper Jr., art by Will Conrad and Cliff Richards, and colors by Ivan Nunes. After a brief 8-bit hiatus, Cyborg is back in Detroit 6 months later. During that time, he was missing, anomaly mutated the Rat King into, a rat. A cybernetic, super strong, monstrous rat. Victor, who can now apparently make himself appear normal, which that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Tracks down Exy to rob Cancer. Exy, the little petty thief, is now a big-time rapper in the city. This is a big mistake because all the little rats are watching and report to Anomaly that Cyborg is back. And they send the Rat King to attack him. They fight, Cyborg walks off and is like, let's go take down Anomaly. Oh man. Have you been reading this at all, like the last couple issues?
Not the last couple issues, no.
What the hell is going on? I feel like the writers are putting a bunch of words in a hat, and they're like, okay, draw 2. What'd you get? Oh, I got a rap song, and I got the word rat. Okay, let's do something with that.
Just like an ad-libs of here's what we're going to write this Cyborg story about.
Last issue, he got some unseeable force transported him into an 8-bit game. An 8-bit game.
Right.
Like some kid made a dimension out of a Game Boy.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
It had no affiliation with the previous story arc.
Right.
I'm telling you, they reached into the hat and was like, oh, I got 8-bit. Let's see what we can do with that.
Yeah.
I did feel so...
The art was decent.
The art was actually pretty cool. It's literally its only saving grace just about.
Yeah, I agree.
I have to admit, I can't stand hurting people's feelings. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Right.
And on my review, I bashed that rap song because it was just cringeworthy.
Yeah.
And the artist or the writer wrote on Twitter, so excited about this issue and so excited about the rap song.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my god, don't read my review.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Did you read that rap song?
No.
Oh my god. Even if you don't like this issue, just go and read that rap song just so you can have a good laugh.
I got a kick out of the cyborg rat character that's named Rat Attack.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of playing Pokemon Go, and it's like, oh, there's a Rattata or whatever those things are called, and then like the words come up. And
and then while they're fighting, Rat Attack is like, he mutated me, but I'm gonna blame you. Like, what the hell is going on? Let's not mention that Cyborg's dad has been tied up for at least a year now. Like,
a long time.
In the exact same position.
Yeah.
Like back since I was reading this book.
Exactly. I remember doing a review back in the day on that, and he was still,
He's still chubby. Like, he's not skinny. They don't make him look like he's been captured for a year.
Right.
Like, is he eating? Like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I gave this a purgatory.
Okay. That seems fair.
Yeah. I kind of agree. And Yep.
Hey, man, it is what it is. We call it like we see it.
Yeah,
so.
it's kind of tough because the art is really like for
as
stupid as that rock concert was. All the way they did the neon character-y monster things and stuff. I mean, that was cool to look at. You just, it was like, oh.
And then there was another superhero woman in the last issue or 2 issues ago. I can't remember her name, but she's nowhere.
Gone.
She's gone.
Just gone.
She's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out.
Well, I can't rate it because I didn't read it, but I will vouch for the fact that this sounds pretty consistent with everything I've heard about Cyborg thus far. So why don't we move things on to our final book of the week?
something a little bit better.
Yeah, Deathstroke number 18.
Yes, sir. Written by Priest and Joe Bennett, inks by Norm Rapmund and Jeremy Cox, are colors. When Jericho finds out his beloved Athena died, he immediately assumes that his father is the culprit. Heartbroken from not only discovering that his beloved Eddie was a spy, but also sleeping with Deathstroke, Jericho begins to lay into his father. A bloody bath ensues. When Rose tries to step in, Jericho promptly punches her in the face. Ouch. But before being punched, Rose was contemplating her own identity. Who would she become? Is she just her father's daughter? The truth will be revealed in the next issue of Titans. So out of everyone, I think Rose is the most interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that.
I like Rose, yeah.
This was the first issue of Deathstroke that I think I've ever read from Rebirth.
Well, the last arc, it was this whole thing where someone put a contract out to kill Rose. And Rose thought it was Deathstroke. So she became estranged from her father. And meanwhile, her father was trying to track down who was trying to kill his daughter. So right now, they're kind of reconciling. And I forget, what's her alter ego name?
Scavenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's kind of playing with the idea of doing that, but she doesn't know. Like,
Or Ravager. Scavenger. Ravager. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound mean enough. Yeah.
There's a lot of character drama, which is crazy because when you think of Deathstroke, you don't.
Yeah, you don't think family dynamics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jericho, who's Deathstroke's son, he was engaged with the woman who just died, but he had an affair with another man. The man had a suit that Jericho wanted, so he killed him, took the suit, tried to hide the fact that he's gay, and then when he gets engaged, he finds out that the girl is sleeping with his dad. It's like OC, the OC or whatever.
And it's and yet it's another young girl that old gray Deathstroke is like, and I just, what is this thing with these young Lolitas or whatever you want to call him? He's got a fetish, he's got a problem.
Yeah, he's into the young girls.
Yeah,
man,
somebody report him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was really good. I really like, we mostly see Deathstroke as this kind of brew. I don't care about anyone type of guy. But very slowly through the issues, you kind of see him. He really cares about people. He cares about his children.
His children
he cared about the power girl.
Yeah.
He wouldn't admit it.
Right.
Yeah.
He cared about her in his own way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we know that he's about to form a team. And it's going to be interesting, his dynamic in it. So I give this one a blessing. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one, too.
Yep.
Blessing.
Yep,
so.
that's why I rated it, too.
Awesome. Well, we got just enough time left to play your game, Ariel. So what do you got for us this week?
We're going to do a version of 20 questions. How much time do we have?
We have 3 minutes.
We'll do 10 questions.
10 questions.
10 questions.
So I have a character in mind. Go.
Is it...
Oh, okay. Is it a male?
Yes.
Is it a DC character?
Yes.
Can he fly?
No.
Okay. Does he have any superpowers?
Yes.
And was he in one of the books from this week? I assume
Yes.
That's probably an obvious question, but okay.
Okay, so we're at 5 questions. He was in one of the books this week that I'm
And he has superpowers.
Yeah, but he can't fly, so that's a pretty telling thing. So we talked about Batman, but there really was
Does he wear? No. Does he dress mostly in red?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say
Not the Flash,
then. Yeah. Oh man. So
does he? Does he have a female, like a girlfriend, wife?
No.
No. Okay.
Is this character? And it has to be yes or no questions.
Yes.
Okay.
That doesn't count as one of the questions.
It's
Yeah.
not a question. Is this character Caucasian?
Yes.
Okay.
2 questions left as I taunt them with my fingers.
So he's super powered, can't fly. He's Caucasian.
Does he belong in an alternate timeline?
No.
So in other words, is he from? He's not from Flashpoint or Injustice. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
No,
with one of
no,
those.
no, he's
Okay,
not
not
from
from like a different timeline thing.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so then it has to be.
One question.
Well, I was thinking it's Bane. I was thinking.
Oh, that's a good guess that's about the only one because I'm out of.
He does have superpowers. He does. Yeah.
Do you guys want 5 more questions?
No. Well, no, because we're like at 1 minute.
Okay, so 1 question left. Who is it?
Is it Bane?
Nope. It was the Reverse Flash.
The Reverse Flash.
Oh. Yeah, and that's tough to answer if he belongs in an alternate timeline or not. But all right, that was a fun game.
That was good. I would say no, he doesn't belong in an alternate timeline.
Yeah, he's from Mars.
I got thrown off when I said Red in the Flash, and then I went in a completely different direction and never thought of him again.
Yeah. So all right. So if you want to find us anywhere, we are everywhere at Nerd Church Radio: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Wait, not Spotify. Not yet. Someday. Any podcasting platform, any social media platform, we're at Nerd Church Radio. Again, we really want to talk to you guys, so send us an email or leave us a voicemail. You can email us at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com, and you can call our voicemail line and leave a message that is located at 641-715-3900, extension 345-703. And am I forgetting anything else? I can't.
You want to donate money, go to Patreon.
Patreon.com/NerdChurchRadio. Help us keep the lights on and, just help us with that. We do exclusive content for people sometimes. And then if you donate to us, we do have reward levels where we send you rewards in return for your donation. Otherwise, if you want to find me, I am on Twitter at IndieComicBen, and then we also have the Nerd Church Radio Twitter page. Noah, where can we find you?
Facebook and Twitter. Just check out Noah O'Toole.
Okay, and Ariel?
We do have all our written reviews up and about the books we talked about and more at nerdchurchradio.com.
Yep, check us out at nerdchurchradio.com or comicbookroundup.com.
And you can find me, Ariel the Oracle, on Twitter.
Awesome. And just one other thing, Paco Gonzalez, he texts me all the time, but he texted about the book. He said maybe you would like to know that before the current miniseries, Batman has teamed up with the Shadow twice since the 70s.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool. I didn't know that. So, yeah, good stuff. But that's all we got for you guys this week. So join us for DC Mass in a couple days, and we will see you in the funnies.
Bye, everyone.